inside the Niger Delta.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. And now to our first story. The federal government has been reminded of the urgent need to fix moribund seaports in the Niger Delta to unlock the region's potentials for a thriving maritime economy. The reminder is coming on the heels of the federal government plan the congestion of the traffic at the ever-busy Apapa Seaport in Lagos State with the ongoing construction of a deep seaport in the Lekki Free Trade Zone, as well as its consideration of another seaport in the Badagry area of the commercial city. Correspondent Tekena Mefori has more.
Nigeria is endowed with a vast coastline that covers over 85 kilometers. By virtue of its littoral status, the Niger Delta covers 2/3 of the country's entire coastline and plays host to 4 of Nigeria's 6 largest seaports. The ports of Warri, Calabar, Onne, and Port Harcourt, all located in the Niger Delta, are managed by the Nigerian Ports Authority. The Nigerian Ports Authority is also saddled with the responsibility of managing the Apapa and Tinkan ports in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria. It is not in doubt that most of the seaports in the Niger Delta are naturally endowed with unique features that can be easily harnessed for the growth of the maritime sector. For instance, the Cocoa Port in Delta State is adjudged the deepest natural harbor in West Africa, while the Port Harcourt Port serves as a multipurpose port due to its ability to handle dry, liquid and general cargoes. Sadly, however, all the seaports in the Niger Delta have long been abandoned on account of administrative neglect.
So if, for instance, I'm importing items into the country and I decide to import them down to Port Harcourt, as against the man that imports them to Lagos, if all things were to be equal, we'll have a level play field. Lagos, call Port Harcourt is the same cost. You find out that obviously my business will be enhanced. But if calling Lagos is far cheaper than calling Port Harcourt for one bureaucratic reason or the other, it simply means that from the word go, I'm working from a disadvantageous point of view.
All the revenue generation is accruing to Lagos alone, apart from the federal government allocation. So what we are losing here is enormous. And when you travel to Lagos, you clear your car and you pay revenue to Lagos State, we are losing a lot economically.
Following the abandonment of seaports in the Niger Delta, the ports in Lagos currently handle around 80% of shipping traffic in the country. It is not in doubt that the flourishing state of the Lagos ports at the expense of those in the Niger Delta is as a result of the federal government's skewed policy in ports administration in the country. The Apapa port, which has undergone routine rehabilitation over the years, currently has 5 private terminals and is the busiest seaport in the country. The Tinkan port, established in 1975 to serve as an alternative seaport in southwest Nigeria, is the second busiest seaport. At the moment, it handles between 10 and 16 vessels at a time and has up-to-date equipment. In furtherance of its skewed policy in the administration of the country's seaports, the federal government is constructing a new facility at the Lekki Free Trade Zone under a public-private partnership. The $1.5 billion Lekki Seaport project is a tripartite project in which the federal government's equity share stands at $110.9 million. When completed, the project is expected to create over 16,000 jobs and generate annual revenues worth over $190 billion to the Lagos State government and the federal government. Recently, the Federal Ministry of Transport, supervised by Mr. Rotimi Amechi, hinted that it was considering a new deep sea port at Badagry in Lagos State and Akwa Ibom State.
We have the minister that is from the region. We have DG Limassol that is from the region. And we even have the General Manager Operations that is from the region, MPA. I don't think we'll have it any better than what we've had. What it is. I don't think it's going to be any better. Now, we're not telling them to go out of their way to skew the system to favor the people. No, we're not saying that. We as businesses in the region, we're saying, look, guys, just go back and do what is right. Spending money to set up 2 seaports in Lagos is a waste of money. What we expect you to do, get the other seaports in the country to be functional. It's not too much to ask.
The river channels in the Niger Delta are said to be too narrow and shallow to accommodate large vessels, which is why shipping companies take their vessels to Lagos. With a depth of only 6 meters, the Calabar port has become too shallow to host large seagoing vessels, and so is the Warri port. Although the Nigerian Ports Authority recently commenced dredging activity at the Warri Channel, there are fears that the project is dead on arrival due to the shoddy job done so far. Weighed down by a shallow water channel, the Calabar Seaport has particularly suffered untold idleness in the last 13 years. In 2006, the federal government awarded a contract worth $56 million for the dredging of the Calabar Port Channel to take its depth down to 9.5 meters, but was never completed. In November 2014, a new contract valued at 20 billion naira was awarded to dredge the Calabar Channel up to 9.8 meters. For the second time, the project came against a brick wall.
This river is not dredged, and as such, bigger vessels cannot come into the port. Invariably, the Nigerian Ports Authority is just standing there. It's a dead dock. Nothing is happening there. The projection of the Calabar Ports Authority, the building of that port, was to open up the eastern flank of the country from Maiduguri. The whole of the northeast were supposed to make use of this port, but nothing happened. Politically, people are sitting on us as if we don't exist.
It goes without saying that the federal government's inefficient administration of the maritime sector is responsible for the retardation of seaports in the Niger Delta. Expectedly, the negligence of seaports in the Niger Delta now amounts to a lose-lose situation for all ports formations across the country. While the seaports in Nigeria's energy hub continue to lay idle, the thriving ports of Lagos are contending with a perennial traffic gridlock that takes a huge toll on the local economy.
These seaports are built 100 years ago with an installed capacity for 100 years. And those installed capacity, you need to take into cognizance that those installed capacity took into account of the other seaports, like Port Harcourt seaports, like the Warri seaports, before even the Lagos seaports. All of those were taken into account. Now you collapse all of the transactions into just Lagos. It's not going to work. It's the backlash we're suffering. And going by statistics, the country loses as much as 20 billion on a daily basis to the way the seaports are handled and being run.
We must fix the ports. The quickest answer to dealing with the Niger Delta today, the quickest, is for former Governor Amechi to get the One, Warri, Koko, Port Harcourt and Calabar ports working. It is a doable because these are existing ports. What are the bottlenecks? Remove those bottlenecks and create a whole swing of power and activities back in those ports.
As gateways to international trade and commerce, the nation's seaports have a vital role to play in its economic growth and diversification. It, however, appears that the federal government has lost sight to this fact, judging from its failure to improve the performance of the seaports. It is unfortunate to note that the federal government's reluctance to take advantage of available opportunities in areas like the maritime sector has dealt a heavy blow on the Nigerian economy in recent times. In September last year, the Debt Management Office pegged Nigeria's total debt at 22.43 trillion naira, which represents over 85% increase from the country's debt profile in 2015. Reacting to this development, the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, had in the month of February this year advised the federal government against external borrowing, noting that the country's debt profile was approaching the pre-2005 Paris Club levels. For a country endowed with vast economic opportunities as could be found in the maritime sector, Nigeria has no reason to continue to wallow in debt. After Vice President Yemi Osinbajo pledged the federal government's commitment to revive the ports in the Niger Delta in September 2017, The reality on ground, however, suggests that it was another media hoax employed by previous governments in the country. The federal government needs not be reminded any further that reviving the nation's seaports, particularly those found in the Niger Delta, is the way to go in diversifying the ailing Nigerian economy. And the time to revive the ports is now.